Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: Hong Kong no longer has the world's longest life expectancy. Time to showcase the real Hong Kong to draw tourists back. Hong Kong's Hashkey Group enters Unicorn Club. Hong Kong stocks slide as China's growth misses consensus, home prices slump. China hits GDP growth goal as focus turns to support in 2024. Hong Kong no longer has the world's longest life expectancy. Bloomberg. Hong Kong has lost its title as the location with the world's longest life expectancy, with Japan now taking the lead. Hong Kong residents were expected to live until 86.8 years on average in 2022, compared to 87.1 years for Japanese residents. The shift is attributed to the impact of COVID-19 and overall stress on local lifespans. Hong Kong has been experiencing social unrest, and the pandemic has further exacerbated physical and mental health issues. The city's death rate from COVID-19 was once the highest in the world, with the elderly being particularly affected. Time to showcase the real Hong Kong to draw tourists back. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's tourism industry has been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The city needs to find a way to attract visitors again. The author argues that Hong Kong should return to its local designer roots and focus on promoting its unique character and local attractions. The MTR Corporation and Cathay Pacific Airways can play a role in this by promoting local markets, sightseeing, and exploration. The MTR Corporation can also support struggling areas and become a community catalyst. The author suggests that Hong Kong needs to showcase its real character and become the greatest show on earth. Hong Kong's Hashkey Group enters Unicorn Club. Nikkei Asia. Asian digital asset management firm Hashkey Group has raised $100 million in a series of funding round, giving it a pre-money valuation of $1.2 billion and making it a unicorn. The Hong Kong company has not disclosed the names of the investors. The funds raised will be used to strengthen the firm's Web3 ecosystem and expand its product offerings in Hong Kong. Hashkey Exchange, the virtual asset exchange arm of the group, became the first to offer retail services in Hong Kong last year. Hong Kong stocks slide as China's growth misses consensus, home prices slump. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong stocks have hit a 14-month low after a government report revealed that China's economic growth for Q4 2015 was lower than market consensus, and home prices have slipped. Fund managers are reducing their allocations on Chinese companies as policymakers struggle with ineffective stimulus plans. The Hang Seng Index fell 2.1% to 15,530.56, the lowest close since November 2022. The Tech Index dropped 2.9%, while the Shanghai Composite Index retreated 0.6%. China hits GDP growth goal as focus turns to support in 2024. Bloomberg. China's economy grew by 5.2% in 2023, matching economists' expectations and reaching the government's target of around 5%. Premier Li Qiang revealed the headline number a day earlier in Davos, Switzerland. However, the National Bureau of Statistics warned that economic development still faces some difficulties and challenges. The biggest threat to the economy remains the property slump, which has weighed on business investment, undermined job creation and curbed consumer spending. Fiscal policy is expected to play a big role in driving growth this year, with China considering 1 trillion yuan, $139 billion, of new debt issuance. Place China bets carefully and look across Asia, J.P. Morgan private banker. South China Morning Post. Holding cash is becoming less attractive for investors, according to J.P. Morgan's private banking head, Alex Wolff. He believes that there are better investment opportunities in select areas of China and bonds. Wolff stated that investors cannot ignore China, but they should be selective about their allocations. JP Morgan has noticed a trend of investors stockpiling cash, with clients holding at least $120 billion more in short-term money market funds and treasury bills than they did 2 years ago. Global markets. Asia stocks slide as China weakness, rate cut jitters weigh. Yahoo! Asian equities have fallen on the back of disappointing Chinese GDP growth figures, with the MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares excluding Japan dropping 1.34%. Weak retail sales in December and tepid growth in investment have also dampened investor sentiment. The Chinese blue-chip stock index was down over 1% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index slumped 2.5%. China's population drops for a second straight year as deaths jump. Associated Press. China's population dropped by 2 million people in 2023, marking the second consecutive annual decline. The decrease was attributed to a rise in deaths, which more than doubled to 690,000 following COVID-19 outbreaks. The number of births fell for the 7th year in a row, reflecting a decline in the birth rate that poses economic and societal challenges. China's population is aging, which could result in slower economic growth and strain the country's ability to support an aging population with fewer workers. The working-age population also continued to decline, while the proportion of those aged 60 and older increased. China's economy expanded 5.2% last year, hitting target of about 5% even though recovery is uneven. Associated Press. China's economy grew at a rate of 5.2% for the October-December quarter, allowing the government to meet its target of around 5% annual growth for 2023. This growth was supported by the country's GDP of just 3% in 2022 due to the impact of COVID-19 and nationwide lockdowns. Officials from China's National Bureau of Statistics attributed the improved growth to measures such as strengthened macro regulation and efforts to expand domestic demand. However, indicators point to an uneven recovery, with trade data for December showing slight growth in exports but falling consumer prices. Despite this, Chinese Premier Li Qiang said that China had achieved its economic target without resorting to massive stimulus and that the positive trend for the economy will not change. Korean airline plane punches hole in Cathay jet at Japan airport. Bloomberg. A Korean Airlines plane clipped a stationary Cathay Pacific jet at New Chitose Airport in Japan, causing damage to the tail of the Cathay Pacific aircraft. The Cathay Pacific flight, which was heading to Hong Kong, was empty at the time of the incident but will now be grounded indefinitely. No passengers or crew were injured in the incident. This comes after a recent collision at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, which resulted in the deaths of 5 crew members. There have also been other incidents, including an escape door plug being ejected mid-flight and a collision between 2 planes at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. Planes collide at Japan airport in wintry weather. Yahoo! A Korean airplane collided with a Cathay Pacific jet at New Chitose Airport in Hokkaido, Japan, on Tuesday. No injuries were reported in the incident, which occurred amid heavy snow. The Cathay Pacific plane was empty, while the Korean Air aircraft had 289 passengers and crew on board. The incident follows a fatal collision at Tokyo's Haneda Airport in January when a Japan Airlines jet hit a Coast Guard plane. Yankovic won't run away from China's pressures as Crunch Asian Cup clash looms. South China Morning Post. China's head coach, Alexander Yankovic, has promised to tackle the challenges facing his team and adopt an attacking approach in their AFC Asian Cup match against Lebanon. China struggled in their first match, drawing 0-0 with Tajikistan, and Yankovic admitted that the team made numerous errors due to stress. Despite criticism of his possession-oriented style, Yankovic remains committed to his approach and hopes his team will be more precise in their passing. China currently face the possibility of elimination if they fail to defeat Lebanon. Why Asia-Pacific CEOs are uncertain about long-term business survival. South China Morning Post. Around 63% of Asia-Pacific CEOs lack confidence in the long-term survival of their company, despite taking measures to reinvent their business models, according to a survey by PwC. The lack of confidence was most evident among CEOs in mainland China, Hong Kong, and South Korea, as they have been confronted with heightened exposure to geopolitical tensions and economic headwinds from their trading partners. Eyeing fix for talent shortage, Taiwan opens door wider for foreign graduates. South China Morning Post. Taiwan has extended its visa rules to allow foreign university students to stay longer after graduation to search for a job. The change, which extends the limit to 2 years, is aimed at addressing a talent shortage in Taiwan caused by its declining and aging population. The policy change could potentially provide Taiwan with as many as 200,000 new white-collar employees by 2032. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six from the Sixth Dimension, here to bring you the latest news from around the world. Today, we have a mix of stories from Hong Kong and China, ranging from the country's economic growth to its population decline, and even a mishap at an airport. Let's dive in. First up, Hong Kong has lost its title as the location with the world's longest life expectancy. Japan has now taken the lead, with Hong Kong residents expected to live until 86.8 years on average in 2022, compared to 87.1 years for Japanese residents. It seems that the impact of COVID-19 and overall stress have taken a toll on local lifespans in Hong Kong. With social unrest and the pandemic exacerbating physical and mental health issues, it's no wonder that the city's death rate from COVID-19 was once the highest in the world. In other news, Hong Kong's tourism industry has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. To attract visitors again, the city should focus on showcasing its unique character and local attractions. It's time to return to its local designer roots and become the greatest show on earth. The MTR Corporation and Cathay Pacific Airways can play a role in promoting local markets, sightseeing, and exploration to draw tourists back. Moving on, let's talk about the economy. Asian digital asset management firm Hashkey Group has entered the Unicorn Club after raising $100 million in a funding round. The funds will be used to strengthen the firm's Web3 ecosystem and expand its product offerings in Hong Kong. This is a positive sign for the city's financial sector and shows that there is still investor confidence in the market. However, Hong Kong stocks have taken a slide after China's economic growth for Q4 2015 missed market consensus and home prices slumped. Fund managers are reducing their allocations on Chinese companies as policymakers struggle with ineffective stimulus plans. It's clear that the property slump is the biggest threat to China's economy, with the decline in business investment, job creation, and consumer spending. Fiscal policy is expected to play a big role in driving growth this year, with China considering new debt issuance. Now, let's talk about China's population. It has dropped for a second straight year, with deaths increasing following COVID-19 outbreaks. The decline in births reflects a decline in the birth rate, which poses economic and societal challenges. China's aging population could result in slower economic growth and strain the country's ability to support an aging population with fewer workers. These demographic changes will have long-term implications for China's economy and society. On the sports front, China's head coach, Alexander Yankovic, has promised to tackle the challenges facing his team and adopt an attacking approach in their AFC Asian Cup match against Lebanon. China struggled in their first match and faced the possibility of elimination if they fail to win. Yankovic remains committed to his possession-oriented style and hopes his team will be more precise in their passing. Let's hope they can turn things around and keep their Asian Cup dreams alive. Lastly, Taiwan is addressing its talent shortage by extending its visa rules to allow foreign university students to stay longer after graduation to search for a job. This policy change could potentially provide Taiwan with a much-needed influx of white-collar employees in the coming years. It's a smart move to tap into the international talent pool and boost the country's workforce. That's all the news we have for today. Now, it's time for you, our viewers, to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on Hong Kong's loss of the world's longest life expectancy title? How can the city bounce back and attract tourists again? And what do you think about China's economic growth and declining population? Share your ideas and questions in the comments section below. I'm Dr. Six, signing off until next time. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.